Assume someone is applying the DV lottery. On the day of the application, that person is unmarried. Maybe 1 month later, the person is married. What happens? Will you be allowed to add your wife or your husband if you got married after application, or if you get married after the results? The answer is yes. There will be no problem at all to add that particular person. Any change in marital status after the results or after applying, it will not affect you negatively in any way. The problem will be if on the day of application you are married and you lie, you say you are single, or you are single, you lie, you say you are married. But if you are single and you get married after the DV lottery, you will be able to add your spouse in the DV lottery visa form, the DSC 260, and then you will be able to come together in the United States. The only difference is this way. On the DSC 260, if you are married on the day of application and you include you are married, when you go to the visa form, when you put your confirmation number and everything, you sign in the DSC 260, you will also see the name of your wife or your husband, and if you have children, their names will be already in the DSC 260 form. But if you go and get married after, or you have a child later, you will manually add those dependents in that particular form. That is the only difference. But obviously you need to have evidences to prove that you got married after the application or after the results, to show that the marriage is the bona fide marriage, not the scam, immigration scam or immigration fraud. You want just to get the benefit of the immigration to come to America through green card lottery. In the diversity visa lottery, when they give the results, so many people are winning. Most of the time, it is 2 times the maximum number of the visas are supposed to be issued. The maximum number of visas to be issued is 55,000 visas. But the number of winners usually is more than that. In the DV 2021, the number of winners was more than 123,000. In the DV 2022, it was more than 122,000 winners. But the question is, there are people who are married, people who have children. So what happens if one person is married and have 5 children? So those are 7 people. So when these 7 people are given the visas, are those visas 7 are going counted towards those 55,000 visas? Are people who have children, are people who are married taking the visas of people who are unmarried, people who don't have any other dependents? So if husband and wife, those are 2 visas, are those 2 visas are going to be deducted from the total of 55,000? The answer is no. Even if one person has 10 children, those 10 children will be considered as one visa towards those 55,000 visas. So when we count 55,000 visas, we count the visa for the main applicant. Principal applicant is the winner. So if the principal applicant has 10 children, those 10 children will be given the visa, but under one umbrella of one case number, under one person is a winner. So never be upset for people who are married. Never be upset with the people who have children, thinking that, oh, all these people with the more dependents are going to take our visas. No, they're not going to take your visas. So you are good to go. Be happy. Make sure that you put the correct dependent so that when you win, you come with your dependents to the United States of America. The number of winners versus the number of total visas to be issued by the US government for the DV lottery winners. Why does the US government select so many people to be the winners of the diversity visa lottery while they have fewer number of visas to be issued? For instance, if you look, the number of winners for the DV 2021 was 133,000. The number of winners for the DV 2022 was 122,000. The number of winners for DV 2023 is above 120,000. So if the winners, the number is so high, but the maximum number of visas allocated is 55,000 visas. And there is no any year where they have given 55,000. There are 2-3 times where the number of visas, it was about 53,000 visas to be issued. So why are they selecting more people while the visas are fewer? It is very simple. There are so many people who are not checking the results. There are so many people who maybe for one reason or another die. There are so many people who don't remember even they applied for the DV lottery, or someone applied for them, they don't know that. But there is a group of people who are not willing to come. I know there is one person, someone they just blaming, he's the winner in Tanzania and doesn't want to come to America. He doesn't want to process. There are some people who are the winners. They want so bad, they go to the visa interview, they don't get the visas. So what they are doing is to select the extra number of people just in case. That's why even the first notification letter, the letter that you have won the DV lottery, clearly states as follows: winning the diversity visa lottery doesn't guarantee you to be given the visa, because the number of winners is higher than the number of visas allocated as the maximum number of visas to be issued in one fiscal year. So you have to prepare well to increase your chances of winning, or of chances of getting the visas, by filling the DSC 260 correctly based on your qualifications and documentations you have. So once you win, remember that there are so many people. For you to be denied the visa, for them is not a big deal at all, because there are so many other people waiting for that opportunity. People with highest number will be praying for you to be denied the visa. So don't take this lightly just because you have won the DV lottery. Take this as a very serious business, starting from filling the DSC 260 correctly, have all the documentation you have, so that you can be given the visa and be able to succeed. And if you are denied to be given the visa at the visa interview, they are not going to refund your money. It's over, the money is gone. Diversity visa lottery selection process. How do they select the winners? How the process goes from applying and then selecting who becomes the winner and who is not going to be the winner in the green card lottery application process. When you apply for the green card lottery, first and foremost, you go through the first filter. The first filter will be, there are mistakes which you do, those mistakes will make you removed from going to the selection process. Assume this is the place where they are doing selection, but before you go to this area of selection, you have to pass step number 1. Step number 1 will be, have you applied 2 times, more than once, because you're supposed to apply once. If you apply 2 times, they eliminate you. You don't go to the selection. Number 2, the photo. Have you done any mistakes of the photo that you say you are not supposed to do? Have you white background? You didn't wear glasses. You don't have shadow. You didn't have this. You didn't look at that. They take all those kind of things, and then if you are good to go, you go to the phase where they are going to do now the selection. Once you go to the selection process is divided into 6 geographical regions. Each region is assigned a certain percentage. And when I say region, I mean Africa is one region, Asia is another region, Oceania is another region, Europe is another region, something like that. So in each region, one country cannot exceed the total winning of 7%. Meaning, in my knowledge, there is no a country which will exceed 6,005 or 7, whatever, because I've seen my maximum number of winners is 6,005 7 going around there. I've never seen maybe 6,500. I've never seen one country with all those winners. So once they put those region, and each region has certain number as a maximum, Africa is the region with the higher number of winners and the higher number of people given the visas. Almost 45% of winners and 45% of people who are receiving the visas are from Africa. Why? Because they have so fewer in America than people from Europe. So for that particular case, they make a draw based on the region. So while they are doing that, they don't care whether you live in US, whether you live in Qatar, whether you live in Sweden, whether you live in England, whether you live in Canada. It doesn't matter where you live. As long as your country of birth was Tanzania, was Kenya, was Uganda, was Malawi, was Ghana, was whatever, as long as you are from Africa, you are in the Africa region. That's why we usually say where you live doesn't matter. Your level of education doesn't matter in the selection. You'll be put in the Africa region. Then the computer is doing a random selection process. Once they do the random selection process in the computer, then they're going to take the winners. So those winners, obviously, the countries with the more number of applicants will have more winners than the countries with the low number of applicants. Practical example, Tanzania, they had, for instance, 5,000 applicants in the year DV 2021 going to 2022. While at the same time, Kenya had almost 300,000 applicants. So Tanzania ended up having 190 winners, while Kenya had almost 3,000 winners. So the number of winners, the higher the number, partly is because of the higher the number of applicants. That's why we usually encourage many people to apply, because that country with more people, you increase more chance of winners from that country than the countries which have low number of applicants. Simple would be like, let me give you an example. You have, let's say, a ball or a basket. In that basket, you have maybe five pieces of paper which are white. You have 20 pieces of paper which are red. You have 200 pieces of paper which are green. The chance of you are supposed to take 10 pieces of paper. If you mix them, the chance of taking the 200 green papers will be higher than those 5 white or red, 10, whatever it is. So the higher number of applicants in that country, the higher chances of winning from that country. So don't apply and just keep quiet. Share the information with other colleagues, because if God wants you to win, you will win no matter how many millions of people are going to apply. The chance in Africa for one person to win is 1 in 154 applicants. One African is going to win. But again, if you go to a country by country, depending on the number of applicants in that country in relation to the number of winners in that country, you find out that the number, the ratio usually is 1 in 50 or to 70 number of applicants. So country by country, the ratio is small. Like in every 50 people, in every 75 people, a person, one is going to be the winner. But if you look as Africa in general, 1 in 154 applicants, you are going to get 1 winner, and that is how the process works. You have checked the results, and you find out you are not the winner. You are not selected as one among the DV lottery winners. The question is, why are you not among the winners of the DV lottery? Why you are not selected as the DV lottery winner? I know majority of people, once the results are out, they're trying to look, where did they make a mistake? What were the reasons for them not to be among the winners? Here are the reasons as to why you were not selected, or why you will not be selected, is why you are not going to be the winner of the DV lottery. There are some of the reasons I'm going to categorize that those are beyond your control, and some of the reasons they're in your control. They are in your fault as to why you are not the winner. Let me start with things which are beyond your control, which are not your fault. It is the fact that the number of applicants each year for the DV lottery is way higher than the number of visas or the number of people going to be selected as winners and the possible down the road who are going to be issued those visas. For instance, before the introduction of the passport requirement, the number of applicants used to be between 18 million to 24 million people. Then the passport requirement started. The applicants, the number went down to 6 to 8 million people who are the applicants of the DV lottery. Passport is going to be removed. The number is going to be higher again, maybe 15 million or 12 million or 13 million. But how many winners are going to be selected? Is 100,000 to 130,000. Those are going to be the winners. So millions and millions of people are not going to be the winners. It's no brainer. Just take this example. One person like Newton, who we know has this particular type of resume, and you take that resume and take a photocopy 10 times, but they need one copy. Obviously, will take one, and 9 of them will not be part of it. So no matter how good, well your application was, but because in the application they take a few people, you are not going to be the winner. So that is beyond your control. But that should not be the reason not to share the information of application to other people. If God wants you to win, you will win regardless of how many millions of people are going to apply. So that is the reason is beyond your control. The reasons which are in your control are the following. Number 1, don't apply 2 times. Don't apply more than once. If you apply and you make a mistake of your name, spelling, maybe rearranging the names, date of birth, passport number, any information you make a mistake, don't go. There is no way to correct that information. Don't go do another application. You'll be completely removed from that particular lottery application. When you go to do application, don't make a mistake in the DV lottery photo. There are so many instructions on the DV lottery photo. Go and review all the instructions and make sure that not only your photo, but the photo of your child, the photo of your spouse, if you have children, if you are married, make sure your spouse and the children, their photos also meet the requirements, because the photo of your spouse, the photo of your child, if it's not going to follow the principles, will be able to make sure that the entire application is going to be removed. So the photo and the number of applications, for instance, will be able to determine whether you are going to be going to the selection or not. So that is on you, and that is not on God. It's you, because you do all those type of mistakes. So what you need to do is to make sure that you prepare your application well and don't make unnecessary mistakes. The mistakes which can be avoidable, please avoid them so that you can have higher chances of winning. That's why we say, how can you increase your chance of winning is to prepare a very good application, to avoid all those mistakes and leave it to God. That's all. There are so many myths about green card lottery application. People try to find things which are not true, put them on the internet, describing here and there, and people start believing them, think that these are the facts about the green card lottery. So today I'm here to break down to you that these are the things have nothing to do with you increasing your chances of winning or increasing your chances of being selected as the DV lottery winner. Number 1, the level of education. The level of education you have has zero impact in the selection process of the DV lottery. They don't care whether you have PhD or you just ended in primary school. Those education qualifications you have will have impact in the interview to be determined whether to be given the visa or not, but not on the selection. This is a non-merit application, pure 100% random selection. Number 2, work experience. We know that in order to get the visa, you need to have at least 2 years of qualifying work experience in the past 5 years. But in the selection process, they don't care whether you have 100 years of experience or 0 year of experience. And the good news is there is not even a place to put work experience in the application process. So don't get upset when you don't win. You say, oh, because I don't have education, maybe because I don't have 2 years of work experience. Those don't matter. Don't apply in the selection. Marital status for the married people. There is what people think that if you are married, you have higher chance of winning. So people think that just by being married, by default, you are just going to have chance of winning. The fact is, each individual has one entry in the application. So if you are single, you apply. And if you are married, husband and wife, if both apply as a principal applicant, both have chance of winning. So there will be 2 people against one unmarried. But if you are married, but still one of the spouses is going to fill the form, it will be 1-on-1. So there is no chance just by being married. So they are not giving priority for people who are married. They don't care whether you are single, whether you are married, whether you have 50 children. No. So selection doesn't matter the marital status. When they are going to do the dice, whatever it is, the computer, you are treated as just individual many applicant, not many applicant with his spouse. No. Number 4, the location of the person filling the form. It doesn't matter whether you are in America, whether you are in any country in Africa, or you are in any country in Asia, or you are in any country in Europe. Eligibility is based on the country of birth. The selection doesn't care where the person is at the time of application. And this usually sometimes confuses people when you try to, oh, please fill in the form for me because you are in America, you'll be able to win. No. The location of the person filling the form has nothing to do. The time of application, whether you apply at the beginning, the first day of the application, or the middle of the application, or the last day, few hours before the application to end, it has nothing to do with it being the winner. Because there are some people, they just struggle so hard to fill the form on the first day. And because the website is so slow, maybe sometimes it takes longer. So they just decide to drop even their children so that they can rush to fill the form so that they can win. Thinking that if you fill the form on day 1, on the first hour, you're going to be the winner. No. This is not the rolling application basis that if you apply the first, you'll go to have chance of winning. Whether you apply on the first day or the last day, they are going to take all application together. They are going to process after the deadline. So don't worry about when you are going to apply. I even applied my nephew 2 hours before the deadline and he was the winner. So don't worry when you are going to apply. Speaking of the time again, it doesn't matter what day of the week you are going to apply or what time, what hour you are going to apply. Because there is this tendency, oh, if you apply on Saturday, you are going to win. If you apply on Sunday, or if you apply on Friday, you are going to win. Or if you apply at midnight, at 2 a.m., or at 12 a.m. that night, you are going to win. Remember, the world is not just like what we think. Your midnight in Tanzania is 4 in Kansas, Missouri area. While you are morning in Tanzania or you are in morning in Ghana, it is night in China. It is during the day in another country. So there is no way entire world will have midnight all at once. The only purpose people are applying on midnight in your country or late night is because of the poor connectivity in your country. So for that particular case, people wait during the night. Maybe people are sleeping. then I can access website quicker. There will be no more traffic for people to use internet in your country. But it has nothing to do with that a trick to apply and win the DV lottery. So don't waste it, like you stay up to that particular late night just to apply. If you are staying up just because of the internet issue, yes. The other thing is, the device you are going to use to apply has no impact into being selected. Whether you use a phone, tablet, desktop, laptop, any of those documents, it's up to you to use. So don't worry, like, oh, if I use a phone, I don't need to win, blah, blah, blah. The device you are using to take a photo with has no impact into selection. The only thing they want is the photo to meet the requirements for the photo, because you can use a very good camera, or a camera but it's not a very good one, and someone can use a phone, Samsung or iPhone, and you can have better photo than the person using a camera. So the point is the photo to make sure that it meets requirement, but the device you are using to apply, the device you are using to take the photo, has no impact in any way. Another thing is, when you are going to do this application, again, number of children, it has no impact on that. That if I have children, no children, don't remove your children. Feel that if I go single or whatever, no. Everything is that way. So there are those kind of myths, people just feed it themselves. Oh, these are the ways, whatever, I can win this way. There is no way to bypass the system. The only way to increase your chance of winning is to make sure that you apply once, you apply correctly, you put the correct information, use the correct photo, and you leave to God. That's the only way to increase your chance. But any other way you want to trick the system, like waking up late night, just changing the VPN that you are in New York at the time of applying, will not help you in any way. So those are the myths, the things which are not true in the V lottery. Don't pay attention to all those things which are not true. Focus on the proper way of applying and leave everything to God. God will be the one to lead you to make you the DV lottery winner. Let's talk about the diversity visa lottery results. How long should you wait for the results? And how do you check the results? Is the US government going to send the results direct to your email address, the email you used to apply for the DV lottery? What is the process to know that if you have been selected as the DV lottery winner, or if you are not the winner of the diversity visa lottery? So the process is very simple and clear. Number one is, the DV lottery results are only going to be checked through online, through the one website, the same website you used to apply. There is no any other way to check the results. The US government doesn't send the email, doesn't send the results to your email address. So when you find someone sends you the message through the email that you have been randomly selected as a DV lottery winner, that the alarm of the scam, the alarm of these people trying to steal your money has to go on, because that is not how the results are going to be checked. So when you applied for the DV lottery applications, there was, at last point, you were given the confirmation number. So you'll be using the confirmation number you have, your last name you use in the application, as well as the year of birth and authentication code, which will be given on the screen to be able to check the results. So you'll be able to go to the same website you used to apply, which is www.dvprogram.state.gov. dvprogram.state.gov is the website you used to apply. The same website will be able to go to check the results of the DV lottery. And you don't check the results anytime you want. The results will be out from the first week of May. They usually announce the actual date of the results. When will that be? The first day, when they say the results will be out on this day, the results will be out on noon of Eastern Standard Time of the United States of America. So once the results are out, you can check the results at any time from that moment forward. And then once you find out you are the winner, you are going to continue with the process. So it takes about 6 months, up to 7, to check the results to be out. You apply in October, so there is October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Then the first week of May, the results are out. So almost 7 months. If you apply in November, it will be 6 months to results to be out, to be able to check the results. And in case you have forgotten your confirmation number, in case you have lost the confirmation number, don't panic. Wait until the results are out, and you'll be able to go to retrieve the confirmation number by putting your email, by putting your full name, by putting your date of birth. You'll be able to retrieve your confirmation number. But you don't need to lose the confirmation number in the first place. So once you finish applying, take the confirmation number, take a photo, screenshot, send to your email, print out, put into a safe place where you will not be able to lose it. And once the results are out, you will be able to check the results and then to continue with the process. Your entry has been selected. Those are the most good news, the most important sentence you will ever hear, you will ever see in your life, and will make you the happiest person on the planet Earth. If you check the diversity visa lottery results and you find out your entry has been selected, it means you are the winner of the DV lottery. You are the winner of green card lottery of that particular fiscal year. Once you find those words, you'll be able to see a PDF document to download. That PDF we call the first notification letter, the letter to notify you were the winner. While you are so excited, while you are so happy that you are the winner, before you go crazy, go down at the end of that letter. There will be something called the case number. It will be the year of that particular fiscal year of the DV lottery. It will be having the region AF, AS, or EU, OC, all those kind of things, and they'll be having the number. The number is very crucial because you'll be able to determine when you'll be possible called for the interview. When will you receive the second notification letter for the interview? So that is a crucial part, and then you can come to celebrate. Once you win the first notification letter, the next step is to go and start filling the DSC 260, the visa form, to find out the process to go to get the visa. Make sure you go again to look everything on your qualifications, on your documentations, and do in a correct way. Your entry has not been selected at this time. Those are the most depressing words you'll be able to see when you check the results of the diversity visa lottery. When you check the results for the green card lottery in the month of May, when the results are out, those are the words, if you are not the winner. If you are the winner, we'll say your entry has been selected. If you are not, we'll say your entry has not been selected at this time. No matter how many times you go and check the results will never change. The results will continue to be the same. Other important things to pay attention on that is that should not be the only reason for you to quit and stop to apply for the diversity visa lottery. Remember, if you are not the winner this time, you might be the winner next year or the year after. Keep applying for the DV lottery and don't start looking the only reason why you didn't win. Possible maybe there are so many people who have applied for the DV lottery than the number of people who are supposed to be the winners. Possible you made a mistake on filling the form. Maybe you applied it twice. Maybe you put a wrong photograph when you were supposed to do that. What you need to do is to prepare for the next application and never lose hope for not applying for the DV lottery. Because there are some people, after applying for the DV lottery, every single day they just think about the DV lottery results and when they'll be in America. I usually tell people, apply, but at the same time start looking for other immigration pathways, other ways to be able to reach your dream. If your dream to go to America or Canada or Australia, continue to look for other ways beyond the diversity visa lottery. But you need to keep applying. I know some people, they have applied for the first time, they're the winners. Some people, they have applied for the second time. There are some people, they have applied the 14th time. That is when maybe they're the winners of the DV lottery. So never stop applying. Keep applying until you win the DV lottery. How many times are you allowed to check the DV lottery results? How many times should you check the results? Will the results of the DV lottery change from the first day and month later? Whether you are the winner, if you check maybe 2-3 months later, will the result change? Or if you are the winner or you didn't win the DV lottery and you come to check later, will you find that the results have changed? Possibly you have become the winner. If you check the results, whether it's on the first day or the second day or the next month, whatever it is, those results will never change. Whether you are the winner, whether you are not the winner. So no matter how many times you check, my advice, check it the first and the second time. If you want to check it the second time, that's more than enough. But if you continue to check day after day after day, thinking that the computer will magically change and forget that the result they said you are the winner, now they say you are not, or you are not, now you are the winner. No, the results of the DV lottery will never change. And once the results are out, they put all at once. There is no batch, first selection, second selection, third selection. No. So how many times you check? Check it once. If you want to check it more, 2 times is more than enough. Don't give so much stress for yourself. Remember, if you are the winner, you are the winner. If you are not, you are not. Life should continue beyond just the DV lottery application and the results. Is there any second selection of the results in the green card lottery application processes and the results for the green card lottery? The answer is no. The results are out once and for all at one time. There are no second results. These are some of the rumors people are saying. Oh, I won, but I checked the first time, I didn't check. I came the second time, 2 months later, I was the winner. Maybe you didn't check it correctly. But if you check it correctly, there are no second selection of the diversity visa lottery results. But sometimes it's confusing. Let me give some confusing sentences which make people believe or think that there is second selection. When you check the results, they say your entry has not been selected at this time. Okay, at this time. What about next time? So that is the people they say, oh, they say at this time. Maybe if I come next time, it will be there. No. It is at this time of the fiscal year of DV 2022, at this time of the fiscal year DV 2023, at this time of the fiscal year of DV 2024, is that particular fiscal year that we are talking about. Another sentence which is confusing people, it is this one. Continue keeping your confirmation number until September. So people say, oh, so why they say I have to keep the confirmation number? I didn't win. They didn't say that if you are not the winner, keep the confirmation number. No. If you need to keep your confirmation number, especially if you are the winner, because the confirmation number, you'll use the confirmation number to sign in the DSC 260 to process. And after September 30th, it will be the end of checking the results of the one fiscal year and the start of the next fiscal year. So no matter whether you keep it, if you are not the winner, that confirmation number means nothing at all. Yes, you can check it the first time and second time if you want, but even if you check 100 times, remember they are going to apply. Many people apply, and the winners is more than the number of visas. Even that letter you are getting that you are the winner is telling you the number of winners is higher than the number of visas issued. For instance, in the DV Lottery 2021, the winners was 133,000 winners. DV 2022, it was more than 122,000 winners. So if the winners is more than 2 times than the number of visas, why should they put it in the second selection until 500,000 winners? No, they don't need to do that. So once and for all. If you check you didn't win, continue, prepare for the next lottery, and prepare, try to look for other opportunities which will be able to help you to continue and be able to succeed with the process to relocate to the United States of America. What should you check first? Or what are the things should you consider and look once you find out you are the winner of the diversity visa lottery? When you check the DV lottery, majority of you are excited to find out you are the winners of the DV lottery. But you forget the other bigger part. You can be the winner of the DV lottery, but not invited, not receiving the interview scheduled date, the second notification letter. Why is that so? Remember, once you win, they are going to select so many people as winners. And those people are categorized into what we call case numbers. The number small going to upper number. So the first thing you need to check, apart from finding out your entry has been selected, apart from finding out you are the winner of the DV lottery, is the case number. You are the winner. Download the first notification letter, go down with your name, and then you'll find the case number. The case number is the most important information in the entire letter, because that confirmation, that case number will determine whether to go to the interview or not to be called for the interview. And if you're going to be called for the interview, when will be the interview date, possible day, possible month? Will it be in October, November, December, January? So that means it can help you with the quicker processing of the resources and other things you need to have. For instance, let's say your case number is 1,000 or your case number is 10. Meaning your interview will be in October, so the results are out in May, so you know for sure you can fill the DSC 260 and the interview will be in October. But if your interview is 30,000, you know, okay, I still have until March, April the following year to process. So basically, you need to know the case number is the most important part in entire letter of notification as the DV lottery winner. So that is something you need to pay attention instead of starting jumping around, celebrating, and you will not be called for the interview because your case number is 98,000. Possible you will not be called for the interview. Millions of people each year apply for the diversity visa lottery. We know the application is in October each year. But do you know the timeline of the application of the diversity visa lottery? From the day you apply until the day you come to the United States of America. I want to give you the timeline of the green card lottery application. We know the application is starting from the first week of October until the first week of November. Depending on when you apply, assume you apply early, let's say the first week of October. Until the results are out, you'll be able to wait for 7 months for the results to be out. You apply in October, so if you apply in October, we are going to count the month of October, November, December, January, February, March, April. The results are in April or in May. So 7 months, you'll be waiting for the results. Then the results are out in May. Doesn't mean that May, you are going to interview right away. You'll wait, the interview will start in October 1st. And that will depend if your case number is a very, very low case number. So let's say if your case number is 1,000, your interview will be in October. So you'll wait May, June, July, August, September, then going to October. So up to September. So 7 months plus 5 months, those are 12 months. So it's from October to October, 12 months. That is 1 year to wait until the first day someone is starting application. Starting the first day of the interview. But not all of you have the small case number of being interviewed in the month of October. Majority of you, the interview will be around March and going forward. So it will be then October, November, December, January, February, March. Add 6 more months. Those will be 18 more months. A year and a half from the day you apply until the day of the interview. And then after being interviewed, you'll be given the visa. Once you're given the visa, you have 6 months to travel any day. I know many people are traveling within the same month. So technically you have 1 year and 6 months, 18 months to wait until probably up to 20 months, almost 2 years process. So don't assume that you apply today, green card lottery, and tomorrow you are going. That's why we encourage people. If you apply for the DV lottery, continue with other things, even if you are the winner. Don't stop studying. Don't stop doing business. Don't stop doing farming. Don't stop looking for other opportunities in other countries. Don't stop and just for that particular interview, job interview, you stop and you don't go to that particular interview. Continue with your life as if nothing happens. Though you will be preparing yourself mentally to start the life in the new country, but don't stop everything and just start drinking alcohol and just chilling, just waiting to come to America. No, you have to prepare with other things. Continue with life, because it's a very long time to wait. A year and a half to 2 years process is a very long process. What next after winning the DV lottery? What are the processes you need to follow? You need to be aware of right after winning the diversity visa lottery. You have applied for the DV lottery. You have waited for 6 months. The results are out. You are the winner of the DV lottery. Now what? The first step is to fill the visa form. But before you fill the visa form, the first thing to consider is, are you married? If yes, do you have kids? Are you unmarried with kids? If yes, do your derivatives, spouse and or children, do they have the passport? Because remember, you will not be given the visa without the passport. So make sure they have the passport. The birth certificate always they have if they have passport. That is the first thing. Because if you rush to fill the DS-260 form, the visa form, let me feel like I'm going alone just because they don't have the passport. Down the road to bring them to be using a lot of processes. Make sure if you have dependents, they have the documents required, especially the passport. But also, if you are engaged, if you are single, you plan to get married, go and get married first before you fill the visa form. Don't fill the visa form, submit and ask it to unlock, then you go again to start filling again. Because asking to unlock, sometimes it can take longer. Sometimes it can take a month, sometimes it can take 1 week, sometimes it can take 3 months. So sometimes the stress of waiting to unlock is higher than just waiting and just go in the process. So documents first, review your documents, review your qualifications, make sure you have everything, then go ahead and start filling the visa form. Once you fill the visa form, the next step is to wait for the visa interview. Previously, there was a process where you ask, the KCC asked for the documents to submit. That process has been stopped at the moment. So for that particular case, you'll be just waiting for the visa bulletin and showing you when to go for the interview. Once you are scheduled for the interview, which we call the second notification letter, at that time, you'll need to make sure that you have all your documentations. You need to have your passport, you need to have birth certificate, you need to have marriage license certificate if you are married. If you said you have high school, you need to have high school certification certificates. If you have bachelor, you are school transcript. If you have type of work, have any proof to prove that you have that type of work experience. All that kind of things you need to have. Then there will be a process of going to the medical to do what we call the physical. So that will be going there to do the physical check, and then they will be able to process that. Then in the last process, you will be going for the interview at the US Embassy. During that time, the process where you will be able to pay is on the medical, which is about $300 to $400 US. Then the visa fee will be $330, and then once you get the visa, you will be able to come to America. The visa will be for 6 months to come to America. You can pay for what they call the actual green card, the actual card, which is 220. You will pay even before or after arriving in the United States. That will be on your preference. So those are the steps for you to prepare to come. But the overall biggest process is for you to mentally prepare, is for you to start researching how to start the life in America, how to be able to overcome all challenges as immigrant, how to buy a house, how to own a brand new car, how to become rich, how to start doing investment, how to get a good job, whatever it is. Prepare your mental state, prepare the next line towards your retirement in another country in the United States of America. What should you check first? Or what are the things should you consider and look once you find out you are the winner of the diversity visa lottery? When you check the DV lottery, majority of you are excited to find out you are the winners of the DV lottery. But you forget the other bigger part. You can be the winner of the DV lottery, but not invited, not receiving the interview scheduled date, the second notification letter. Why is that so? Remember, once you win, they are going to select so many people as winners. And those people are categorized into what we call case numbers. The number small going to upper number. So the first thing you need to check, apart from finding out your entry has been selected, apart from finding out you are the winner of the DV lottery, is the case number. You are the winner. Download the first notification letter, go down with your name, and then you'll find the case number. The case number is the most important information in the entire letter, because that confirmation, that case number will determine whether to go to the interview or not to be called for the interview. And if you're going to be called for the interview, when will be the interview date, possible day, possible month? Will it be in October, November, December, January? So that means it can help you with the quicker processing of the resources and other things you need to have. For instance, let's say your case number is 1000 or your case number is 10, meaning your interview will be in October. So the results are out in May, so you know for sure you can fill the DSC 260 and the interview will be in October. But if your interview is 30,000, you know, okay, I still have until March, April the following year to process. So basically, you need to know the case number is the most important part in entire letter of notification as the DV lottery winner. So that is something you need to pay attention, instead of starting jumping around, celebrating, and you will not be called for the interview because your case number is 98,000, possible you will not be called for the interview. What is the first notification letter in the green card lottery application process? This is one of the terminology people don't talk much about it. People talk more about the second notification letter. So while we are talking about the second notification letter, people do not know what or which document is the first letter. The first notification letter is the first letter you get to be notified officially that you are the DV lottery winner. When you check the results and it says your entry has been selected, you'll be able to download the PDF letter. That PDF letter from the Department of State, that is the first notification letter. That letter, which has the case number, is the letter informing you you are the winner, and with the case number will let you know when you will be the interview date, and that letter, you will also go with that letter during the interview along with other documentations so that you can be able to process interview at the US Embassy. So in short, the first notification letter is the first letter notifying you that you are the winner. Make sure you read that letter in entirely, because it is clearly stating that congratulations, you have been randomly selected for the fiscal year DV lottery, blah, 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 blah. Winning the DV lottery doesn't guarantee you that you are going to be given the visa. the number of winners selected is higher than the number of visas available for people to be given. Go and read instructions and fill the visa form properly to increase your chances of being given the visa. So make sure that you go and fill it properly, because so many winners are going there. If you go randomly and fill the form wrongly, you are putting yourself in danger of being denied the visa at the US Embassy. What is the second notification letter in the green card lottery application process? When you apply for the DV lottery, you go to check the results. At the time the results are out, you are the winner of the DV lottery. You get the first notification letter that you are the winner. Then you will go ahead and fill the visa form, the DSC 260. At one point while you are waiting, you will receive a letter telling you that on this day, it is the day of the interview for you at the US Embassy in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, at the US Embassy in Nairobi, Kenya, at the US Embassy in Accra, Ghana, at the US Embassy in Freetown, Sierra Leone, wherever it is, the city where the US Embassy is located. That letter telling you the interview schedule date is at this day, at this location, that is what we call 2NL, the second notification letter. It is the notification letter which is very, very crucial, because everybody who is the winner doesn't get that letter, because there are some people don't get invitation to go to the visa interview. You are one among with the second notification letter. From the day you receive the second notification letter to the interview date, in most cases you have at least 6 weeks in between. Why there is a period of 4 to 6 weeks is because there are some people are in different countries. They have to travel to meet their spouse, to meet their children, to figure out how they do that. But also there is to do the medical physical exam. So you have to schedule for the exam in between that time before you go to the interview. And then you go to the interview between those time of 4 to 6 weeks. So for that particular case, you must make sure that once you receive the second notification letter, get ready, start preparing to go to the medical as soon as possible. And not every doctor is going to do the medical. There are designated medical doctors, physicians in your country who have contracted with the US Embassy to do the medical for the DV lottery winners or for any person processing to come to the United States through immigrant visa or rather green card. There is high and low case number. Case number is the number you are given once you go and find out you are the winner of the DV lottery. The case number is not given based on when you check the results. The number has already predetermined when you are given. So whether you check it, the first person to check the results or the last person to check the results, the number will continue to be the same. But when we say this is low case number and this is high case number, there are numbers, even if you are the winner, you might not be able to be called for the interview. We know, for instance, if you are from Africa, let's say your case number is, let's say, 110,000. It is difficult to be called for the interview if you have that case number compared to someone with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 will be going to be called for the interview. So the lower the case number, the quicker and the faster for you to be called for the interview. For instance, if someone has the case number of 1 to 2,000, that person will be interviewed in October. Going further will be maybe in November, then December. So the lowest number is quicker and faster for you to be able to check the results than the person with the very high case number. Some people it will be delaying, and some people will not be even called for the interview. So if you are the winner of the DV lottery, don't celebrate too much before going to check and find out if you are the winner and what is exactly your case number, because you might start jumping, eating jollof, eating pilau, eating sambusa, eating whatever, and then at the end of the day your case number is very, very high and you are likely not going to be called for the interview. So winner, but confirm what is your case number. Is it too high? Is it too low? And regardless of the case number, make sure that you also apply the following DV lottery, even if you are the DV lottery winner. The famous form DS-260, immigrant form number 260. This is immigrant visa form, where many people who are looking for immigrant visa are going to fill this visa form. Among those people are people who are the DV lottery winners are supposed to fill this particular form. What is this form? What are the key information or key things you need to pay attention when you are filling this form? This form is in different categories or different areas. Number one, there are those kind of personal information, blah, 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 blah. But in order to fill this form and complete well, remember, you need to have good information, the correct information about your education level and work experience. If you don't have high school, you depend on work experience. You have to put work experience in a very explanatory way so that you'll be able to get the visa without any particular problem. But while you are filling this form, in order to complete this form, you need to have the address of where you'll be staying in the United States of America. Many people don't get the opportunity to have what we call a host. So make sure that you find different ways to get the host, to get a place where you'll be staying. You have a friend, someone, wherever you are from, your countrymen, will be able to help you as the address where you'll be staying in the United States of America. Apart from that one, other things will be very, very important. You have to fill them. They are not long, but they need to have the address where you have been staying, if you are the name of your parents, your name, where you go to school, criminal record, what your intention in the United States, or blah, 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 those type of form, you are there. If you ask it to, you submit that form, you will not be able to make any change. But if you want to make any change, you have to ask KCC, Kentucky Consular Center, to unlock your case number. And to unlock, you don't need to give the reason. You put on the subject your name, your case number, and your date of birth, and then you ask them to unlock your case number, your DS-260. I want to make changes. You don't need to give the reason. I want to change this one because the child is born or because someone died in the family is not able to come. You don't need to give all this explanation for that particular case. So DS-260, once the interview schedule has been done, you cannot make any change. That is the time when the U.S. Embassy will be able to have access that DS-260. But if you go and make any change before the U.S. Embassy, before the interview schedule, U.S. Embassy will not see that one. Those edits, those changes you are going to put are not in the final copy until the final submission and the visa interview schedule date has been set. The embassy will have that access. Can I edit information or details of my visa form, DS-260, after submitting? If you are the DV lottery winner, when you submit your DS-260 form, it goes to KCC, to Kentucky Consular Center. Once you send the information, your form is locked. That means you cannot make any particular change. You can make changes only if you ask KCC, Kentucky Consular Center, to unlock the DS-260. The request is very simple. You put your case number, you put your birthday and your name. On the body, you just write them, please unlock my DS-260. I want to make changes. You don't need to explain the reason of that particular change. Once you make it, the unlock, you can make any particular change. The changes, the edits you do, it's between you and the DS-260. Those changes will not be appearing, or the U.S. Embassy will not see all those when you are going to make those changes. But once the DS-260 is fully locked and you are going to be given the visa scheduled date, the second notification letter, that is when the US Embassy in the country was supposed to do the interview, they have the access to that. They will see the final DSC 260 with everything there. So they will not know that whether you remove the name, you change the name, you are single, you say you are married. They are not going to see all back and forth. They will see the final version of everything. That's all. So yes, you can make changes with that particular procedures, but don't worry that the changes will not going to be seen like, oh, you put this one, then you change the name, you change the name of the school. They're not going to see those kind of information as the US Embassy. DV lottery host. One of the part of the visa is the diversity lottery visa winner. In filling the DSC 260, you are supposed to indicate where you'll be staying and who you'll be staying with. So in that particular case, we say diversity lottery visa host. The person who will be hosting you, the person who will give you accommodation. But not every one of you will be knowing a person in America. That person must be having what we call residential address, the address where people live, not the PO box, not the address of the like the address of business area. It has to be a personal or what we call residential address. But you might be asking me or asking yourself, how do I get someone to agree to host me in America if I don't have relatives? So there are so many ways you can be able to use that. You can go to your social media. This is what I encourage people, that use social media in your own advantage. If your dream and your goal is to go to America, to go to Europe, to go to Canada, why can't you start looking people to follow them on Instagram, to follow them on Facebook, comment, have conversation with them? So if something happens, already they know you are on their radar. Don't wait until you win. Oh, can you host me? You have never even commented even once in my channel. So you need to start using social media in your own advantage. You can go on the Twitter, you can go on Facebook and type, I'm the DV lottery winner. Is there any person who is willing to host me at least for 1 month? There are people who will be able to host you. Go to the Facebook groups of people from your own country. If you are Kenyan, find Kenyan groups, find Tanzanian groups, find people from Ghana, your fellow people from West Africa. Just write to their groups. Someone will be able to host you. If you cannot get someone for free, even for paying someone as that accommodation, people will be able or willing to do that. So that is one of the way. Another way will be able to find a host. Just if you are Muslim, find a mosque, write to imam, write to a sheikh who is in charge of that particular mosque. Find a Muslim community in that particular area. Find, if you are Christian communities in that particular state. You can look which state. I want to go to Ohio. Is there any Anglican church, Anglican community, or Lutheran church, whatever, and find that way you can be able to connect. If you are Catholic, write to a priest. They might be able to help you in one way or another. You have nothing to lose than just writing an email. Another way you can be able to do is also to try to find just overall someone to rent you apartment, but like what we call, like someone is, we call sublease. For instance, someone in a house, can I rent a room for 2 months? That means you already use the address, and when you go there, you stay at their home for a month or two in that way. So there are different ways on how you can get a host, but you cannot, it will be practically difficult or impossible to complete the visa form, to submit the form without that address. So you must have that address. And if it's completely, you fail to get the address, you can ask a person like, EBM, can I use your address, but I'm not coming to stay with you. The card will come to you, and then you will send to me the address. I will tell you once I arrive in America. So you can come, and on the document you show like you are coming to me, and once you come, you can arrive in the same state, but you can go to another city, and then I'll give you the card once it comes. But make sure that the person you are going to ask that one is the person you might trust. Not every person, you never know. This is online. You need to trust someone before you go and allow them. They allow you to use the address, and most importantly, the card to go there. You know that card is very, very crucial. It's very, very important for you. Who is a good host? Someone to host you if you win the DV lottery. There are so many things and sometimes unnecessary conflicts between a person who is the winner of the DV lottery and someone hosting you. Someone say, oh, my host didn't do anything for me, so it's a bad host. My host did 1, 2, 3. Oh, my host is good, my host is bad. So who is a good host? Number one, a host is someone just helping you to give you a place to stay, the accommodation, that's all. But if that host decides or has more information on how to get you a job and is letting you know, that's good. But remember, host is just giving you the place to stay. It is your responsibility, you as the winner, to ask a question to the host. Can you help me to go to this place? Can you help me to understand this? But not every host knows a lot of things about immigration like me. So don't expect that every host will be knowing all those immigration stuff. Don't expect that your host will be the one taking to the interview, giving you a job, giving you a ride, doing whatever. No. To avoid those unnecessary conflicts, it is better for you and the host to have conversation. You don't need to write it down as a contract, but just to understand expectation and what someone will be able to, oh, I'll help you to find a job. I'll help you to do this 1, 2, 3. It is better to have the initial conversation, because sometimes you might say, this is the host. The host is just, I'm giving you the address, I'm busy with my job. It is you who needs to make sure that you understand those kind of things. If the host is expecting to help with the child, did you discuss that expectation? Otherwise, you might just wait for a child. Someone is waiting. Oh, you're waiting to help for a child, and you don't. Oh, this person is bad. This person is bad. So you have just the unforeseen conflict. But if you have the honest conversation, life becomes so much easy. I can give 2 examples quick. I have hosted 2 people. One is my nephew. One is Carla and his family. In all situations, we used to have to talk too much. We talk a lot. We had so many understanding and what are the expectation for what we are there. If it's for pay or is for free, you have to talk those in advance. So those are the things you need to know from very, very early on, so that it becomes easier for you if you win, so that you can have a host and you don't need to have a conflict in that. Up to today, Carla, Asrida and his family, we have very, very good friendship. We go to their home, they come to our home. But if you don't have those conversations, you might end up in conflict. You don't talk today, you don't whatever. Oh, this person didn't do anything. No. Did you expect that? Did you have that kind of expectation? Did you discuss? Did the person was aware that that is what your expectation? Whether it's your host or the person is coming. The person is coming to start the life. It's not coming to be your maid at your house. So if you want the person to help something, to pay, or to help with dishes, or to help with something, you need to tell them, to discuss those kind of things, to avoid unnecessary conflict between the two people, 2 families in the same house. Who is a good host? Someone to host you if you win the DV lottery. There are so many things and sometimes unnecessary conflicts between a person who is the winner of the DV lottery and someone hosting you. Someone say, oh, my host didn't do anything for me, so it's a bad host. My host did 1, 2, 3. Oh, my host is good, my host is bad. So who is a good host? Number one, a host is someone just helping you to give you a place to stay, the accommodation, that's all. But if that host decides or has more information on how to get you a job and is letting you know, that's good. But remember, host is just giving you the place to stay. It is your responsibility, you as the winner, to ask a question to the host. Can you help me to go to this place? Can you help me to understand this? But not every host knows a lot of things about immigration like me. So don't expect that every host will be knowing all those immigration stuff. Don't expect that your host will be the one taking to the interview, giving you a job, giving you a ride, doing whatever. No. To avoid those unnecessary conflicts, it is better for you and the host to have conversation. You don't need to write it down as a contract, but just to understand expectation and what someone will be able to, oh, I'll help you to find a job. I'll help you to do this 1, 2, 3. It is better to have the initial conversation, because sometimes you might say, this is the host. The host It's just I'm giving you the address, I'm busy with my job. It is you who needs to make sure that you understand those kind of things. If the host is expecting to help with the child, did you discuss that expectation? Otherwise, you might just wait for a child. Someone is waiting. Oh, you're waiting to help for a child, and you don't. Oh, this person is bad. This person is bad. So you have just the unforeseen conflict. But if you have the honest conversation, life becomes so much easy. I can give 2 examples quick. I have hosted 2 people. One is my nephew. One is Carla and his family. In all situations, we used to have to talk too much. We talk a lot. We had so many understanding and what are the expectation for what we are there. If it's for pay or is for free, you have to talk those in advance. So those are the things you need to know from very, very early on, so that it becomes easier for you if you win, so that you can have a host and you don't need to have a conflict in that. Up to today, Carla, Asrida and his family, we have very, very good friendship. We go to their home, they come to our home. But if you don't have those conversations, you might end up in conflict. You don't talk today, you don't whatever. Oh, this person didn't do anything. No. Did you expect that? Did you have that kind of expectation? Did you discuss? Did the person was aware that that is what your expectation? Whether it's your host or the person is coming. The person is coming to start the life. It's not coming to be your maid at your house. So if you expect, you want the person to help something, to pay, or to help with dishes, or to help with something, you need to tell them, to discuss those kind of things, to avoid unnecessary conflict between the two people, 2 families in the same house. How long should you stay at your host if you are the DV lottery winner? Assume you have won the DV lottery, you have processed everything, and now you are going to the United States of America. You'll be staying at the host in America. But how long should you be staying there? There is no set of time of how long you will be staying there. I've been saying this over and over, that what you need to do is to have the open conversation with the person who is hosting you, to have the expectation and the things you'll be able to agree together. Some of those conversations will have the topic or the expectation of how long will you be staying there. Are you going to stay there for a very short time, maybe use 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years? There is no set limit. As long as you agree and you are both okay with that, there is no problem. For instance, when I host someone, myself, I'm the one who is bringing up the topic that you'll be staying here. I'm expecting to stay here for a particular period of time. So you can be there, staying there for 6 months, I have no problem, or is it 3 months, or whatever. That is what you agree. Someone can say you can be able to stay there until you are okay, until you get a full-time job, you get a 2-3 paycheck. It's depending on how you agree, everyone. So don't say, oh, my host is bad because he told me to leave after 1 month. Did you agree? Did you talk about it? So instead of just bashing someone out, just have that conversation. That means you live there without a problem, without a particular time, then you'll be able to go there. There are some people, even if they are being told you can stay here for maybe a year, they just decide, okay, I just stay there for 2 months, then I want to have my own life, to have my own thing, everything. Thank you so much for hosting me. So it's depending on each and everyone, is case by case basis. We cannot have, okay, when you go to the host, you must stay 1 month, you have to stay 2 months. And depending, also, is your host your relative, is your host your friend, is your host is just someone you met on the internet? So it's depending on so many factors. Does the host have extra house, extra room, extra space for you to stay or not? So all those kind of things are very, very important to consider. But overall, you need to have an open conversation from the start with the host on the expectation of how long you'll be staying at that particular address. There is the issue of affidavit of support when you go to the interview of the diversity visa lottery. I want to put something very, very clear. If you go to the list of official documents required for the DV lottery winners, and this list is provided by the US Department of State, there is no mention or requirement of the affidavit of support. And in this context, we are referring to the form number I-134. Not all embassies are requiring this particular document. Some of the embassies and consulates are requiring this document. Some are not requiring this documentation. So, who is supposed to fill this form if the US Embassy in the country where you are taking the interview? Who is supposed to fill this form? Not everybody has the status or is allowed to fill this form. Only the person with green card or a person who is a US citizen is required to fill this form if this form is required. And again, this form is not a sponsorship form. It is a form which the US government believes that if you get the financial difficulties, instead of going to the US government to request for financial support, the person who is filling this form will be required, will be responsible for supporting you during that financial hardship. So they prefer or they require a green card holder or a US citizen to fill this form. Then, not everybody, again, even if you're a US citizen or green card holder, will be able to fill this form. They need to know how much is your annual income. And that annual income is related to the poverty guidelines or the poverty line. So if a person who is going to fill that form is single, he needs to have maybe 18,000 per year. And then if he's going to sponsor or to put one person or two people, total will be 3, they say maybe you need to have 35,000. So there is a poverty guideline to determine how many people and how much income you need to have. It's not about the bank statement. It is about the annual income. And the annual income is going to be proven by tax return or tax credit. I mean the tax transcript, which will be able to include to say this is the annual income of someone according to the IRS. So that is how it's supposed to be. What is the challenge of getting this one? People are assuming if you are hosting me, you have to fill this form. No. You can have a person A as a host and person B can be the person filling the affidavit of support if, again, the embassy in your country is requiring the affidavit of support. The host is any person giving you the address or the place to stay. A host can be international student. A host can be a person visiting America. A host can be any person with a non-immigrant visa. But the person filling the affidavit of support must be a green card holder or a US citizen with a certain income as a minimum requirement. So, if you go to a person to ask that one, the challenge usually is rising based on the following things to get someone to fill that form. Number one, not everyone who is in America will have the income which will meet the poverty guidelines if is adding you in that particular list. The person can be above the poverty line based on their income. But if, let's say, you come, you and your spouse and 2 children, that is 4 people on top of their salary or the top of their income. That will be difficult to find the people who will be able to do that. Number 2 is the fact that the tax return or the tax credit has the social security number. So why should I give you the document which has social security of myself, my wife, and 3 children? I do not know what will be using those information. I can send you no. So that is a challenge. Some people, they don't like to share either how much they make or sometimes the exact social security number in that particular context. Some of the embassies, they know that because of that reason, they allow you, the person who is sending that one, to send it direct to the embassy. So if the country where you are, the embassy requires that, you can ask the embassy if they can give you the particular email so that the person can send that information direct to the embassy. Someone will be confident to send that information direct to the embassy than to you, because I do not know how you are going to handle social security number, whether it's going to be compromised or not. So that is a challenge in that particular case. But the best way to avoid this confusion, for instance, the embassy in Nairobi, Kenya requires affidavit of support. The embassy in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania doesn't require. So if you have difficulties completely, you cannot get the affidavit of support, then move the interview location from Kenya, doing Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, then you are not required to provide the affidavit of support, and that will be the quick solution for that. But all in all, the affidavit of support is not required. But if the particular embassy requires it, you must go with it. If you don't go with that particular affidavit of support, they are not going to deny you the visa. They will give you the time. Maybe you have 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. Go and bring this documentation so that you can give you the visa, or they are not going to give you the visa if you completely fail to bring that document in the countries where the affidavit of support is a required documentation. What is the cost of the green card lottery? We usually say green card lottery is free, but there are two things which are different. Number one, there is application of the DV lottery, and number two, there is process after winning the DV lottery. The application of green card lottery by itself, the filling of the form itself is free of charge, 100% free of charge. You can pay someone to help to fill the form, yes. You can pay for the take the photo, yes. But that doesn't mean that it is for payment. The filling actual in the form, there is no any fee. The US government doesn't charge any amount of money for someone to fill that particular form. But once you win, it's not free. So what are the costs? How much money do you need to have to prepare yourself to finish the entire process as the diversity lottery winner? These are the following costs. I'm not going to include the cost like a passport, the cost about your transportation to go to get the birth certificate, or go to your school and get the transcript or the certificate. I'm not going to include those one. I assume you have all those one. Once you receive what we call the second notification letter, the letter for you to go to do the interview, you have 4 to 6 weeks to prepare to go to the interview. The first thing you'll be able to do is the medical examination. How much is the medical examination? You don't go to any medical doctor. There are some specific physicians who have contract with the US government in your country to do the medical. Whether you do in Ghana, whether you do in Cameroon, whether you do in Turkey, whether you do in Saudi Arabia, whether you do in Tanzania, the price or the fee is the same. The same fee is the same fee in the US too. The fee in most cases is about $400 to $450 for adult. But for the children, it can be to $200 to $300, depending on how many vaccines those people have and the record already. So in this situation, let's say it is $450. That will be the cost for medical, $450. Then what else? There is a visa fee. The visa fee is $330. The $330 doesn't matter whether the child is 1 day old, whether you are 50 years old. You are all going to pay the same amount. Remember, the medical, you pay to the medical doctor the day you go there. The visa fee you pay by cash at the US Embassy in US dollar when you go to the US Embassy. And that is 330. It makes 780. Once you do the interview, they are going to give you the visa. Once you are given the visa, you have 6 months to travel. But once they give you the visa, they'll give you a piece of paper. The piece of paper has the link of the USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Those, what we call the green card fee, is the fee to go to print that actual card. The fee to print that actual card is 220. That is for a person who is a child, the person is older, is just the cost of that fee. It's the cost of that card, I mean. So to print that card is 220. The good thing is, it's your choice to print that card, to ask to pay for that card before or to pay for that card later is up to you. That amount, it is going to cost you 1,000 US dollar. You take 450 medical, you are going to add the 330, the what we call the visa fee and green card fee, the actual card printing fee. It makes 1,000 US dollar. Then it comes to the cost of passport. How much is the cost of flight ticket? So the transportation from your country to the US, it depends. Are you traveling from East Africa, from West Africa, from North Africa, from Southern Africa? Are you traveling from Asia, or are you traveling from Latin America? So depending to where you are from, most of the flights will be about 1,000 US dollar if you go one way. But some might be $200, some might be 300, some might be 500. If someone, let's say, is in Costa Rica, let's say is in Haiti or in another country, it might be closer to the US. Someone is in Cuba, whatever it is. So it depends on where someone is traveling from. So, but let's say it is about 1,000. This will go to make a total of 2,000 US dollar. That will be the total of how much is going to cost you. So if this is going to be 2,000, then we are not going to include the money to start the life. The money to start the life will depend also on your host. What agreement do you have with your host? Are you going to pay your host? And if so, how much? Or are you going to stay there for free? Then how long are you going to stay there? Let's say your host is going to allow you to stay there for free for 2 months. So if he's going to stay for 2 months, then you are not going to start the job right away until you get the social security number. So usually I tell people, you need to have at least the money to start your life, whether you are single, whether you are married. So at least for most of the states, if you are not going to New York, you are not going to California, you are not going to Chicago, you are not going to Hawaii, at least you need to have at least 3,000 more. Meaning you can just go and get apartment right away for 2 more months in advance. So for that particular case, if you add 3,000 more, you are going to have 5,000. But just if you have up to arrival there and even 500, like 2,000 until you arrive in the US, then it can depend. Some people can come with 500, life can be able to start. 1,000, you can be able to start depending on your host, depending on how everything is going to start. So it depends on extra, depending on the host. You can be able to arrive and then you are going to get your own apartment. Yes, 3,000 will be able to start with. If you have the host is nice to allow to stay there for 3 months without paying anything, you can go with 1,000 extra in your pocket and you'll be able to start your life. Or you can have 3,000, you can be able to get your car right away and you can be able to start going to work without any particular problem as soon as possible. So those are some of the money you need to have to prepare and to start your life in the United States as the V lottery winner. Medical or physical exam is one among the requirements before you are given green card. And it doesn't matter, you get a green card by marriage, green card by employment, green card by lottery, green card for whatever reason, you must do the medical or physical examination. The medical exam is not intending to go there to explore every small tiny thing for you to block you from coming to America or from not being given a green card. It is there to look for few things which might be able to protect Americans. So they are not going to do the medical exam to check HIV, to check hepatitis A, hepatitis B, all those, some of the medical problems. They are not going to look at that. So what are the things which, if found in the medical exam, might cause you not to be given the visa? Number one is tuberculosis. If you have tuberculosis, you will not be given the visa. But they're not going to be to deny you the visa. They will tell you to go to be treated first in order to come to America. Why is that so? Remember, tuberculosis or TB in America has already been eradicated many years ago. And there is no vaccine for tuberculosis to be given to people when they were kids. In Africa, up to this moment, when you are born, you are given TB vaccine. So if you are going to do TB vaccination while you are a child, and then down the road you are going to go and test for tuberculosis, there is a pinch, they put some injection here into certain liquid. If there is a bump, something coming up, it means you have tuberculosis. But most of Africans, because you have TB vaccine, it will come up. So for that particular case, though we don't have TB, we have to do the X-ray so that they can prove that we don't have tuberculosis. So that is another way on how you can check tuberculosis. So that is one of the way they'll check tuberculosis. If you don't have tuberculosis, you are good. If you have, in that case, they'll tell you to be treated first before you come to America. Another thing is, if you have a severe case of drug use, like excessive, and like you are so much into drug use, you'll be denied the visa. But if you have been recovered, there is no problem with that. And again, if you have a mental health which has been proven that it has caused harm to the community, to the public good, you'll be denied. In this case, these are some of the examples. Let's say you have a mental health issue, and then you have taken a knife, already proven, you have gone to the bus stop and started to stab people. For that particular case, they know if you come to America and you have the opportunity to have a gun, you might go and do the same thing. So you'll be denied the visa. So in a medical, so those are some of the 3 cases they'll be looking at, which will cause you to be denied the visa because of that. Out of that, any type of disability, you'll be able to come to America without any problem. But how much is that medical? The medical costs about $450 in most cases, depending on the list of vaccines you have and the documentation you prove, but it can go to $450 or to 400, 350, but that will be the range amount. At the moment, from the October 2021 to today, still the people who are going to be given green card must have the COVID vaccine. But this one will change because I've seen so many changes where people are allowed to come to America now without even doing the test for COVID test. So this one will also go to change. But out of that, this is what is going to be done into the medical. The US visa fee for the DV lottery winners. How much is the US visa fee for the DV winners? The cost for the visa fee, first and foremost, doesn't change from age 0 to whatever age it is. No matter the age, if you are 1 day old, you are 50 years old, you are 25 years old, you are all going to pay the same amount of money for the immigrant visa fee as the lottery winner of $330. That fee is going to be paid by cash, in US dollar, and you are going to pay at the US Embassy on the day of the interview. So don't be scammed by any person online that send you your information, you're going to process, you're going to be given the visa. No, the fee is not paid by any other form except cash on the day of the interview. In any case you get denied the visa fee is non-refundable. So make sure you have everything required. Make sure you meet the requirements, and when you go there, you will have a chance of getting the visa, so that you cannot be denied and be upset that the US government has taken your money and they didn't give you the visa. What should you wear when you go to the visa interview at the US Embassy? You are the DV lottery winner or any type of visa. You are going to the US Embassy during the interview. How should you wear? US lifestyle is more casual. It's not about like British, you have to wear a tie, you have to do a dress up, you have to do whatever to be look this way. No. You can wear t-shirt, jeans, that's okay. But you must be a little bit understanding that there are some of the clothing, some of the sign you might have in your t-shirt might be offensive to other cultures or might cause you not to be given the visa. Remember, those are human beings too. Assume you go up there at the US Embassy during the interview, you have a t-shirt here with American flag burning. Do you think they'll give you the visa and you have someone burning American flag on your t-shirt? Obviously not. So just wear something not too overdressed, but wear a little bit more presentable in a normal way, in more casual but respectful way. They don't care much, but remember, we are human beings. You come there on this visa and they see, okay, how you were. Sometimes I know it doesn't have much influence, but you never know. So there is no a dress format, but you have to be understanding. When you go to church, how do you wear? Wear like how you go to your church, but not too overdressed. That's what I can be telling you, like to prepare to wear to go to the visa interview. How long is the DV lottery interview at the US Embassy or consulate? I usually tell people the DV lottery visa interview at the US Embassy is the most easiest interview you'll ever have at the US Embassy. Obviously, it's among the fastest interview too. Why? The length of the visa interview, if you are unmarried and you don't have any dependent at the interview, that interview will be 3 minutes max. You are done. If you are married or you have children, that interview, if it's long, is 5 minutes. They are going to look just a few things. First, to verify you are the winner. That's why they need the first notification letter, you are the winner. They want to know that you are the one who filled that form, and also you are the one who is the winner. You are the winner, then the next step, the next process is very easy. They want to know that you are the one who you are. If you are illness, you show the passport, blah, 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 finish there. The next thing they want to look is, do you meet the qualifications of education or work experience? You have finished that way, they check, you have bachelor degree, boom, blah, blah, blah. Congratulations, welcome to America. Come 2 days, come next week, whatever it is, to take your passport with the visa, obviously. So the interview length is very, very short. There is no question about, do you like your country? Will you come back to your country? Because they know the V lottery is the visa as immigrant to go to live in America permanently. So there is no question about whether you'll be coming back. Is going there forever to prove that you are the winner. Remember, the V lottery is a government program. So that's all.